be part of my world. Alright, I'm gonna stop singing. Singing, it was something of my time, you know what I'm saying? Singing is something of my time, but I ain't doing that no more. But welcome back to another episode of Thicker Thoughts. This is your girl TL, and I'm about to tap y'all into some historical facts that I just feel like need to be put out here. I've been gone for a little bit, so I'm gonna catch y'all up real quick. I started a new job. My new job's going great. I love it. I asked God for this blessing. He gave it to me. Now I'm ready to run with it, and I'm praying and asking him for more. We going through this retrograde right now, so I just want to throw a little light to everyone. Make sure that everybody's staying warm and cozy, and also, just trying to keep that positive energy going on. The retrograde ends October 2nd, but it's just been so much going on during this retrograde. There's been a lot of hatred. People been carrying a lot of a lot of unneeded and unwanted energy with them, and they've been trying to spread it in different places of the world and on different people and different subjects. They just trying to bring down the demeanor. And one thing that I think that should be something that everyone should be happy about is something that's for the good of children, right? Everybody should be joyful and happy over something that's for the good of children. And I talk about this all the time. I always talk about representation and why representation is something that is needed within our society and needed within our culture that we don't see a lot. So today I wanted to jump right in and talk about this Little Mermaid issue that everybody's having a conniption about the Little Mermaid. Everybody thinks that the Little Mermaid, they changed it, blah, 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 blah. But they're not knowing a lot of facts of why it was changed. What's going on? The history, the background of why this was changed. Halle Bailey, she's a beautiful young woman. We can put the first picture up of her. She's a beautiful young woman. Like, she deserved to be in this role. It just came naturally. Like, if you ever watch the trailer of The Little Mermaid, it just came so naturally. Like, when I first heard that she was getting this role, I was so excited, only because it's like, okay, we have Princess Tiana, but we don't have any of our princesses in any of the Disney Pixar live action film. We don't have a lot of representation of our people, not in animals or CGI animals, actual people, humans playing these roles. And it was just a confidence boost to see that somebody like, somebody who looks like me, somebody who is actually the same age as me, 24 years old. I'm thinking about when I was a kid, when we didn't have Dr. Stuff. We didn't have Princess Tiana. I don't think Princess Tiana came around till I was like 10 years old. So seeing, these kids being able to see themselves mixed in with the new CGI and the technology, it was just like a real boost. And sometimes when you're going back and you're watching the videos of the kids getting their first initial reaction of watching the trailer, they're just as happy as I am. And I thought that everyone was going to be happy about this. Never once did I think that, the skin color of the person playing it was going to play a factor. I felt like the person has to exude who the character is. Like, they have to be part of the character. And just her naturalness, she has a soft face and a soft tone that fits the character to me. So when she said that and they announced that she got the role, more or less likely was I shocked. No, I wouldn't like. I wasn't like Halle Bailey. No, because she has that. She carries that natural princess energy. Like she carries it with her. And I think, oh my God, just look at her hair. That was one of the big things that everybody was worried about. Her hair's not red. Her hair, it's orange. Oh, we don't like her hair. I love that they kept her with her locks, and I love that it wasn't that crazy like that. It red. It was natural to people of our culture. It was natural to black people. If you ever seen a natural black ginger, that's exactly how their hair is. And I love the naturalness of it. Just look how sleek and natural she looks. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just beautiful. If you could go and play the video, I think like when I watch this video, I swear I watched it about. Every time I get down, I literally get on YouTube and type in Little Mermaid trailer. It's just so beautiful. It actually, like, the first time I seen it, I cried. So, I mean, like, when I was watching it the first time, I mean, I believe I watched it about 20 times. It brought me to tears, only because it was just so innocent. Like, you know how sometimes you watch kid shows and they just don't seem innocent, or, oh, it's too much. It was just so innocent and pure, and just... Wish I could be part of that world. Chef's kiss. I love the fact that they gave someone who's not in the acting spotlight, someone who's not been in, oh, I was in this movie, oh, I was in that movie, oh, I was in this movie. They brought not really a fresh face, but a fresh face. And Disney's not really known to bring fresh faces. They recycle a lot of faces. They use, a lot of the same people. Not to get me wrong, I love my girl China Anne McClain. She be doing her thing. But I think that they needed to find someone that had a softer, had a different approach to things. And I think that she was perfect for this role. She looked amazing. She sounded amazing. Like, oh my God, when she first came around the corner, she was like, shh, shh, shh. And she looked and she peeked her head out. I was like, oh! I started it over. But I wasn't expecting her to sing in this trailer that they dropped. This trailer dropped at I think it's the D23 Expo that they do. It's a Disney Expo they do every year. It's called D23. This trailer came out, and a bunch of other ones came out too. But this was the one, okay? Not to mention, like, after they got all these, everybody wants to hate about this show, we got Yara Shahidi, and she's gonna be playing Tinkerbell. That's my girl. I'm really excited about her doing this role, only because we always thought, I don't know, she always said, like, if they have the Tinkerbell, Pixie Hollow, that whole, it's a whole thing that I used to watch when I was a kid, the Tinkerbell, Pixie Hollow shows. And, I thought that, I don't know what I thought about the character at first, because Tinkerbell doesn't talk much in the Peter Pan film at all. So they brought in Yara Shahidi, and I would really like to see her movement and her body movement, because I've never seen her, in a role like that. You would want to put somebody that dances, or somebody that, does a lot of, because she doesn't talk, so it's more of like expressing with your body. And maybe in this new Peter Pan film, it's called Peter and Wendy. Wow. It's not called Peter Pan because Peter Pan and Wendy are equal in this one. So maybe Tinkerbell will not be a sidekick and she will have her own character. And I was really excited to see that because Tinkerbell is one of my favorite characters. And essentially, because all of this stuff that we talking about is inspired by our culture. It's inspired by African culture. It's inspired by our history and our people. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when we looking at mythical characters, that we have our own mythology as well. Everybody always thinks about Greek mythology when they think of things. They always think about, they never think that we have our own fairy tale, or we have our own, stories that show our fairy tale lineage. Because in my eyes, I believe that we do deserve our fairy tale lineage. We are princesses, we are fairies, we are these things, and we can be these things. I don't think people ever look at us in a mystic-like manner, but all of these things are derivative of our culture. And I'm gonna tell y'all why a little bit later. When I was in college, I did a lot of studying on African American history, African civilizations, African religions, specifically the Yoruba. They're somebody that I studied, and I did a lot of work on about demigods. And so I want to tell you guys a little bit about some of these demigods and these mythological creatures that people are so mad that Disney is casting black people in these roles. When these movies were first created, you gotta think, when these fairy tales were first created, they didn't have the research abilities that we have nowadays. There was no Google, they didn't have these research entities that we have nowadays, that we can go on the internet and look up things, or we can reference another researchers. All they had were, hearing the hearsay from another explorer who went out there. So a lot of these stories that y'all are hearing about are about things that explorers seen on their travels, and they turned them into fairy tales. But I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit more when we get back on the next segment. And we back with the second segment, like do 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 do. I'm about to tell some facts. Alright, y'all. So in this segment, I really just wanted to give y'all some of the things that I was researching once I came across the banter that everyone was talking about on the internet. And what a lot of people don't realize when we're talking about these mystic creatures, I'm gonna start with the Little Mermaid. That when we were in the Middle Passage or the transatlantic slave trade, a lot of people jumped overboard because they couldn't bear the situations that they were in. Their hearts were heavy, their souls, there's even a song in the Little Mermaid that's called Poor Unfortunate Souls. I just want y'all to think about that. In that case, though, the song Poor Unfortunate Souls was actually about Ursula and King Triton, her siblings, and they were supposed to come together to take the throne of their underwater kingdom, and it didn't go that way because Ursula chose to be different. She chose to be an octopus instead of a mermaid, and King Triton believed that only the mer people were of the elite. So we always have this bias going on. But back to the Middle Passage, a lot of souls jumped off of the ship, and there are a lot of souls in that ocean. Now, why wouldn't these mermaids be black? If there's so many souls within the ocean that this is taking place, why wouldn't they be black? So there was a tweet, it was popularized by Teen Vogue, that was out there that talks about Yamaya, and she's a ocean mother goddess. She's a demigod. And what a lot of people don't understand is that these spirits are of nurturing spirits. They are of love. And a lot of people do get a lot of deities and demigods mixed up only because they are so closely aligned. Like, a lot of people think that they're the same thing, but they're not at all. So this story of Yamaya, the god, was brought over in the slave trade, and she is strong enough to bathe in the blood of her enemies. So this is an image of her right here. And I think that this is, I think that this is the one that they are closely depicting Ariel with. A lot of people want to mix her up with another deity that I'm about to talk about. And because I mean, nobody can tell me, it's a lot of people that can argue and combat about things, but what y'all not gonna do is like downplay the history behind some of these things. Like, everybody wants to downplay, like, oh, you looking into it too much. Oh, you overanalyzing. No, it's just facts. The stuff is out there for people to read for a reason. Like, even though a mermaid is a mythical creature, it is still part of, everything has its history, its own history behind it. And everybody's thinking that she is like a derivative of Mami Wata, who her picture should be up here. This is not. Do y'all see those snakes? Do you see the snakes? This is not, to me, I'm just saying, to me, this is not who they're trying to depict in The Little Mermaid. Everybody always thinks of, when they bring up mermaids, they always bring up Mami Wata. Mami Wata, yeah, she was just in the new American Horror Stories. Her deity was in an episode, her demigod was in the episode of American Horror Stories. This is not the one that they're talking about when they're talking about The Little Mermaid. They're actually talking about Yamaya. And I think it's just like a common misconception, only because our mythological history is not put out that much. Like, people don't think that it's something that is useful to our society, but it is. Like, kids need to know that we have our own fairy tales too. And when I first learned about these things, I was in college. I didn't know that we had all of these African goddesses. I didn't know about any of that stuff. So my mind was struck, and I was thinking about some of the things that I'm hearing about history wise and historical, that we can't even, my mind can't even fathom some of the things that I'm learning and putting together. It's like the slaves are jumping overboard, but there's a spirit within the ocean that is nurturing to their souls. Nurturing to their souls. I mean, like, these people, there are people that actually pray to these spirits. They actually believe that these spirits can nurture their situation and bring them, transparency to their life. And this, just imagine, like, okay, yeah, everybody want to say that all sirens. Everybody wants to talk about sirens. When we talk about black mermaids, why do we always have to talk about sirens? Why we can't talk about the good mythological creatures that we have? And then a lot of people don't even understand, on a lot of the European ships that was coming across those waters, they had mermaids and these fish-like characters on the front of the ships. On the front of the ships, that was carrying the souls of African American slaves that were in the bottom of them. Like, people got to start putting two and two together and thinking, and really trying to stop downplaying our people and our history. And but everybody want to try to compare her to Mommy Watson, and it's not Mommy Watson that they're circling this around to. We got to think of brighter spirits. This is a childlike thing, a nurturing like spirit. Princesses are nurturing. They have a nurturing nature. That's why they always have an animal friend, an animal sidekick that looks towards them for coddling and care. So I found some other stuff about Tinkerbell. And when I found this about Tinkerbell, I was shocked because I didn't know. I knew about mermaids, but I didn't know that much about fairies. And I've always been obsessed with fairies, and it's always been something of our time. So when I found this image right here, I wanted to talk about some things that I found. So the yumbos, I think they're yumbos, Senegalese, resemble the images that we see of fairies. Tinkerbell had like blonde hair in the movie, right? So in this case, they have silver hair. They're 2 feet tall. They stay in Paps Hills, and they come out in the moonlight and dance. This deity, this demigod right here, she's it's called, I believe, I'm just reading this stuff, so I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing it right. It's Azia. Are the little people in the forest of the Dahomey Kingdom in West Africa, and they have a lot of knowledge of supernatural powers. The Ashanti believes that this image right here are of guardian spirits. So if you ever watch Peter Pan and how Tinkerbell kind of like follows Peter Pan, and she's like following him and on his shoulder, kind of like, a guide to him. Like, she'll shake her head, or with her, they'll make like, Disney, they make those little sounds. They'll make a sound with her suggestion, and he'll say, oh, Tink says, blah, blah, blah. But he's really a spirit guide. She is a spirit guide to Peter Pan. That's why she is with him. There's always a higher thought process to me to some of this stuff, and I'm sorry I'm stuttering because I'm just really excited. I haven't done any research in a long time. There's just a higher thought process to some of this stuff. that people are thinking are just minor characters. These are not minor characters. These are major characters, and they are part of our culture. Regardless of the fact of people saying that, oh, we should have kept the characters the same. No, we have to start, being diverse and sharing other parts of other people's culture, because that's how we learn about one another, and that's how we show our kids how to love each other. How am I going to tell my kids, we can be princesses, we can be princes too, and we can, learn to love one another, but when they're looking at TV and they're watching all these films, they don't see themselves in these films. So they don't ever feel like they could be a prince or a princess because they're not in these films. We gotta have it. Our kids gotta be able to believe and dream big. Why are other kids allowed to dream big and our kids can't dream big? And it's the history. We got historical proof behind this stuff. We got the proof. So I feel like it was needed. I feel like, the proof, I know I gave y'all a little bit of facts, but I feel like the proof is there. Like, if somebody wants to combat about it, I'd rather do this over, I can type it out to you a lot better than I can say it. But our kids need to know these parts of our history because they're not there. We don't see our people in mythology. We don't see our people in fairy tales. I never seen any black people in fairy tales until HBO did Happily Ever After. And these were fairy tales for all races. They had like Asian, they had African, they had different kinds. But I really think that they need to bring that back. Every time we see our black people, like Princess Tiana, I love that story. I love the story of Leah Chase and how it was told. But, our kids need to be able to see more. They need to be able to dream big than seeing, someone working in a restaurant or, and then after that, they turned them into frogs. Like, what the hell? We going to commercial. And we back, and I'm about to tell y'all just a little more facts, okay? So I found this girl on TikTok. Her name is Jessie Jumanji. And she actually did like a really informative video on Tinkerbell and Peter Pan. And she was saying in her first video, I was unable to find the first one for us to put it in here, but I did find the second one.
Y'all know what time it is. We are back with more black ass history. Today's topic is Tinkerbell and the Disney fairies. We got a lot to cover, so this one will be 2 parts. Tinkerbell is a fairy from Disney's Peter Pan movie. The word fairy derives from the word fari, which originated in Morocco, northern Africa. The word dwarf also derives from Morocco. The word fari was used by the Berbers of Morocco to identify African dwarf races that were known for mining silver and gold. Some examples of these shorter races of people found throughout Africa are the Batwa of Uganda and the Bambuti of the Congo. They were often mocked by colonizers for their short stature, and the idea that they never grow up comes from their size being similar to a child, even in adulthood. These dwarf races were especially exploited in gold and silver mines. Because of their small stature, they could fit into small crevices and spaces in the mines. This is why Tinkerbell and other Disney fairies are depicted as small, childlike characters who sprinkle sparkly fairy dust everywhere. But we are just scratching the surface. Y'all stay tuned for part 2. We're gonna get even more in depth.
So, I mean, she literally told y'all exactly why, we have this. And like she said, she was scratching the surface. But the author of Peter Pan looked up to some of these explorers who studied in Africa. The person who actually wrote the book, the fairy tale, he looked up to some of these European explorers who went to Africa and was writing books about some of the things and the cultures and the tribes that they seen. And so, if you look, I think it's in the first page or something, there's a book about the author of Peter Pan's life, and he talks about who inspires him, and he talked about a lot of African explorers. Culture vultures, y'all stealing. No. But I mean, I like how he paid homage to, the explorers and the culture itself. But I just wish that if we were gonna do that in movies and in films, that they were displayed correctly, like from the jump. I'm not understanding why these characters weren't African American from the jump. I mean, I understand, society and racism and things of that sort. And I understand the racism behind Walt Disney. I understand that. But there's no excuse why this wasn't depicted earlier. I mean, it was in the Tinkerbell series. They had like black fairies and stuff. But they were always like sideline characters. We need our people to be main characters too. We don't need to just have like one little Black Mermaid that's on one episode of the Ariel and the Little Mermaid series. Or we don't need to just have one little black fairy that comes along that's in Pixie Hollow that is the most minimal character in the friend group. No. We need to be front and center. And I wish they did this with more male Disney characters too. Like, I would like to see a black prince in one of these, because I feel like they never show okay, they had T'Challa, but they never show them in these like romanticized, like cuddly type roles. They never show them. They show them a lot as conquerors. As conquerors of, always like fighting and combating. They never show them in this gentle structure. So I would like for them to maybe come out with, if they do Princess and the Frog. I know like Princess Naveen is from Prince Naveen. He's over from like in the Nepal type of area. But I actually would like him to be black too. Maybe I'm reaching. Y'all can tell me if I'm reaching, but I think that he should be black too. Only because like we're in, or maybe he could be like black. He can be mixed race. But I don't know. I would like to see that, because I don't know, I just feel like when we have African American males on Disney, they're always like in a supporting role. They're never in the main role. Like, we had Corey in the House, but Corey in the House was a spinoff from That's So Raven. So initially he was a supporting role. It was never thought of, it was never a genuine idea for him to have his own show. I want there to be a movie where the black male, a soft movie, not like a combat, Black Panther, he's fighting and combating these battles within society, which I love Black Panther, don't get me wrong. That new movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes. But I love that movie, but I just feel like they deserve more, like they should be put into the forefront. Maybe I'm reaching. They could have made Peter Pan black. I believe that wholeheartedly, like in the character, I believe that they could have made Peter Pan black. I'm trying to think of who would be a good Peter Pan. Who would be an awesome black Peter Pan. And Disney's really good about bringing out fresh faces. So I feel like they have the, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got the manpower to go out here and find these African American, these young child stars that would kill these roles. Like, the little boy, I think the little boy that plays, I don't know, the little boy that's in Grownish, because we're talking about Yara Shahidi, the son, not the oldest son, the younger son, one of the twins. I think that he would have been good in that role. But I also think that, having a kid that's in musicals would have been good in that role too. But I think that Peter Pan could have wholeheartedly been a black guy. I think he could have been a black, a young black man. I think it would have added some spice, a little bit of spice. But I like that idea, and even though, we got the infrastructure, that Tinkerbell is black. So, and I mean, Peter Pan flies and stuff too. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, isn't he some type of pixie himself? Like, what is he, a pixie? Now I gotta go do some research on that, and I'm gonna tell y'all next week. But I'm thinking he's like a pixie, or let me ask Siri. Siri, is Peter Pan a pixie? Okay, Siri is on it. Peter Pan is a Disney fairy. Everybody is saying that Peter Pan is a Disney fairy, which, if Peter Pan is a fairy from Netherland, but he's like the leader of the Lost Boys, and the Lost Boys was like a tribe. They're like a tribe of boys. Why was this man not black? Disney, y'all taking us out of some of our characters, and I need to know why. Like, this is disrespectful at this point, because if Peter Pan was the leader of the Lost Boys, and the Lost Boys was like a tribe of lost boys, and he throws out pixie dust, giving to me very much Barry, giving to me very much like y'all took this man from this tribe in Morocco and y'all made him. I don't like it. But yeah, I mean, I got a little excited about it, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to these films. I don't really have, my expectations are up to here. And if somebody ruins this movie, I know it's gonna be a lot of mad ass people at the movie theater. If y'all ruin one of these movies, I'm telling you, you're gonna be on TikTok, you're gonna be on Facebook, you're gonna be on Instagram. Everybody's gonna be talking shit about you. Yeah, I mean, like, I used to work in the movies when I was in high school, and people dead ass used to fight in these movies. Movies like this, movies like Star Wars, movies like Moana. They used to fight over the Disney movies, like bum rush the doors over the Disney movies. And it's called for. I mean, who's to say that I'm not gonna bum rush the doors or rent a whole theater room when The Little Mermaid comes out? Because I don't want nobody in there like or, you know, black people coming late, walking in late to the movies to sit down. No, can y'all please not do that this time? Please. And don't tell that baby to sing. You better sing, baby. Y'all don't be in that theater making them comments. Don't be in there saying, take your time. Don't be in there making none of them comments. Let the movie play. Please. You know, black people, y'all always like to make comments about people singing. I believe that she could have sung this song a little better because it didn't have notes. It's not your role. We going to commercial. We'll be back. And we back, and I'm about to drop some gems, and we back, and I'm about to drop some gems. So this is a segment on my show I call Dropping Gems, and I'm gonna just spread some little light and spread a little love. I'm reflecting back on when I was a kid, and I always wanted to be these saints for Halloween. I believe one year I was like Daphne. Yeah, it was Daphne. I was Daphne. One year from Scooby-Doo, and it was just like, why there weren't enough black characters. Like, one year I was like, there ain't enough black characters. They don't have any of these women in these powerful power roles, so I'm gonna roll out as Batman. And I was Batman, and that's, you know what I'm saying? That was the closest I could get to something that made me feel comfortable. So, you know, we always had Susie from the Rugrats, but that wasn't something of my time, and that's not something of the kids. Okay, Rugrats did their little CGI reboot. Nobody watched it. But, I mean, these kids need these characters. Like, they going out to Halloween, they don't have no characters to dress up as. Why I gotta be the black version of a character for Halloween? Why I gotta be Black Velma? Now that we have these people in these roles, I'm ready to see it. Like, I want to see all the beautiful black girls in their Little Mermaid costumes, you know, with their red hair. I'm ready to see that. I'm ready to see all these little black girls in their Tinkerbell costumes ready to be, you know, live out their fantasy. I'm ready for that. I might even dress up as Tinkerbell myself because I'm just so excited, and I feel like this is something that we deserve. You know, we have our fairy tale endings. We are princesses. We are princes. We are royalty. We can put love and light and nature and spirits into the world. We can, you know, all these fairy princesses, they always have animals accompany them. We have our way with the world and the land. So I think the encouragement in seeing this and letting us know that we have these so tragic stories. Every time we see a black kid that's in one of these spaces, they always got to have a tragic story or something's got to be a little different about their family. No, we deserve to have fairy tale endings too. One day when I meet the right person, I want to marry my prince. But if nobody's seeing that, and all we're seeing on our TV, you know, we got Doc McStuffins and she's a doctor, but we're not seeing these endings of anything. We never see a ending like, oh, it'd be okay if they continued to show up and Doc McStuffins went to college or graduated from high school and went to be a doctor, or you know what I'm saying? But we never see these endings. I want to see the story of the fairy tale ending. I want to see them reach this happiness that they deserve in life, because we deserve the happiness. And a lot of the stories that they tell, they always want to tell these tragic stories of us. No, our kids should be able to dream big just like everybody else. I want to see kids going into Disney World with their little mermaid Mickey ears. I want them to be able to go, you know, they got like a little beauty salon in there. I want to be able to go into the Disney store and see all of these little Halle Bailey shirts with the shirts and the hair, because we deserve to have merchandises with our face and our people on them too, that don't just come from our people. We deserve to be recognized in that way, recognized in love and light. So going forward, I want people to think of themselves in this princess and prince type attitude. Carry the emperor and the empress attitude. Carry the love and the light, you know, with you on your back, like you are a prince and a princess. And, you know, think of, you know, if you're in a relationship, you're not in a relationship, think of yourself as a princess in distress, and you're going through life, and you will find your prince, or you will find your princess. It's all about hope, and that's why these movies are out here, to put hope back into our community. So, you know, I'm signaling out love and light. Put hope in your retrograde. The rest of this retrograde, carry this princess and this prince type energy. I'll see y'all next episode. Peace.